Hello and welcome back to The Power of Muscle. This podcast is going to be a little bit more in-depth today on how I was a little bit deceived in terms of how to energize the muscles and really have sustained output for workouts, for conditioning of the body to get into shape. You see, I was really seeking this and didn't know where to find it. So again, I founded Mind Muscle Memory and the Power of Muscle because I myself had a very tough struggle when I was younger. So if you didn't hear much about my story, I'm Miles Betcha, and I graduated college with a Bachelor of Health Education and Health Science. And I went into this field because at the age of 13, I was an avid athlete at the time, and I was struck by a car while on my bicycle route and doing my normal activities, and I broke both legs, a femur up on the top of my thigh, and it was straight in half, snapped that, and the lower leg on my left side. So this really was a shocker because I was obviously laid up in the hospital for 3 months. And then after coming out of the hospital, it took me about 6 months after the accident just to get out of the wheelchair on crutches to be able to use them to go back to school. So there I was starting back to what I thought was going to be, my 8th grade before I got to high school. And I could not run, could not do any of the sports I was doing previously as I had when I started 7th grade. So as you can imagine, I didn't know any more than what I was doing at the little bit of physical therapy I did at home and then at the outpatient. And I went ahead and started to get back on my feet, like I said, and started to move around and eat a little bit better and do some biking and, just the regular things to go along and try to get back in shape. And without much guidance, when I tried out for the sports I wanted to participate in high school, my freshman year, nothing really went as planned. I pretty much couldn't play baseball anymore. I couldn't swing a bat very well, couldn't throw or run. I couldn't play football because of my speed and strength was very poor. So over the course of that year of 8th grade, I didn't get back to where I was before. In fact, as I was growing, I was also a little bit limited because things got tight, things didn't work right. So there was not really anybody to help. So I started to get to the point where I was very frustrated. And my next year, I didn't participate in any sports. Even then, as I tried to get in a little bit better activity of sports, I even tried out for the golf team, and I didn't make that team at that time either. So here I was. I thought I was just going to be able to eat and just run around and play sports, and I'd be back in shape. Well, as I had found out, I was asked a lot of questions. I needed to do more than that. So at the time, it was the late 80s, and I was not really finding anybody to help guide me through that. So I started to look into different weight training and different things like bodybuilding, these things that produced muscle conditioning. And I realized I had to learn a lot of that on my own because there weren't a lot of people able to show me how to do that. So after all I had gone through, I was very frustrated and was not going to be able to participate in sports in high school. And I really had a vision, a dream early on that I wanted to play collegiate sports. And so that didn't look like it was going to happen as well. So here I wanted to let you know, when you have a setback, you try to, seek help, you try to set some goals, and you look for others who know some of the things to do to get those goals accomplished. So that's what I did. I went out and I started working at a fitness facility. And because I did find out that weight training was able to put some better muscle strength and tone back on me. But as I continued to grow in height, it was a little bit difficult. I wasn't probably getting there as fast as I wanted to. So fortunately for me, I was in a good location and I was very appreciative of those who saw what I wanted to do and, showed me some things about eating better and eating in better whole plant-based foods. I was helped with powerlifting. And powerlifting and Olympic lifting I learned and became a certified personal trainer as I began to get more and more into health education and back into participating in sports. So I may have been what you call a little bit of a late bloomer, but here I go. I was walked on to a track and field program at my local college, and I was starting to do well there, and I was building up my strength and attended some amateur powerlifting competitions, and as well as some amateur bodybuilding competitions. And those who had helped me at that point, I just so grateful for and appreciative, and we still are friends to this day, most of us. So, from there on out, what I really want to get to here is that, the comeback, the overcoming. Again, you have to keep the vision out ahead of you, but you have to have some goal setting, and those have to do with your routine. So your routine is, how well you plan the night before to make sure that the, 2/3 at least of the meals that are going to be needed for the next day are ready. What is the schedule like? These are all things that you have to put into some type of goal setting, a SMART goal, measured, attain that, and give yourself a reward. So what happened in the next coming years was that I just continued to accelerate, and I am very fortunate, very blessed to say that I was able to be around those who encouraged me to keep going, and I ended up gaining not only a multi-sport collegiate athlete all-star position as track and field and the shot put, all-star shot put team, and all-league and all-star for football. But I was also able to become Mr. Massachusetts tall bodybuilding champion as well. So I excelled in 3 different sports and was able to do this with the support and help, obviously, of my family, my friends, all those people who were there with me. But I continued to look at, obviously, it was about what I wanted and how I had to take it and add some courage to that and add some discipline to that to make it happen. And I know that I want to transition this to you for a moment, the listener out here. We want to keep providing these things to you with the Power of Muscle, is that we know you're listening. We know you're able to do these types of focused goals or take steps towards your vision along certain milestones. So apply that now to where you want to see yourself in 3 years or in 5 years. So as you can see, I had myself realized that it's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen by the time I was finishing high school, right? It didn't happen even as I was beginning to start into college. I took a little bit extended time, but I was patient. I had to work through those milestones of getting there. And that's where we want you, as you go through and work through your process to get to your vision, that you work on those milestones. We're here for you. If you have any comments or questions, please send them over to us. If you're enjoying the Power of Muscle, please give us a positive thumbs up out there. And we look forward to sharing all these different meal planning for dietary intake, aerobic activities and cardiovascular conditioning, stories, things that we've learned along the way that we want you to not have to go through the struggles yourself, but the best you can do is to learn from somebody else who has gone through these things, right? And has been helping others for decades now to do so as well. So thank you and welcome to and appreciate your time with this episode of The Power of Muscle. And we look forward to seeing you so you can get stronger every day and continue to stay strong because life is long. Thank you so much. Miles Betcha, and I'll see you on the next episode.